Hey, is my sound coming through okay? Hey guys, is my sound okay?
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the CantinaMX podcast, a special expanded 48-team version we have for you tonight. We've expanded to 48 teams, so we're looking forward to that. I want to thank y'all for joining us here live on YouTube. It's 9:54 p.m. Central Time. Got going a little late, but we are on the air. Thanks again for joining us, and of course, you can listen to this edition and all of our previous editions at the podcast center on iTunes, on the on your phone or on your computer. My name is John Jagu. Thank you very much for joining us here on the CantinaMX podcast. I need to update my music. We'll have to figure out a way to do something with that. But with us, as always, we have an esteemed panel of guests. We have just a small handful of topics to discuss tonight. Of course, we'll talk about the first week of LigaMX. I'm sure that there's some gentlemen on our panel that are just chomping at the bit to get to the action, and then we'll talk about a certain player who had a hat trick over the weekend and where he stands and what we think might happen to him later on this year. And then, of course, we'll talk about the newest announcement by FIFA, the latest news in regard to the decision to expand the World Cup finals from 32 participating nations to 48, and in essence adding an additional 16 games to the tournament. And we'll discuss the breakdown of that and get everyone's opinions on whether or not this was a good idea or a bad idea a little bit later on in the show. But before we get started, we do have to introduce our esteemed panel of guests. Of course, we always start. I'm starting to realize that this is going to be another West Coast, Third Coast brawl, because we have two gentlemen participating from California and two from Texas. So once again, we are at odds. And of course, we'll introduce the California contingent first, out in South Los Angeles. We can't call it South Central anymore. It's South Los Angeles. Of course, we're talking about Joel Aceves. Joel.
Good evening, John.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué me dices, Joel?
Okay, it's raining over here. I like the weather right now.
Yeah, well, you guys need the rain. So I would, in Texas, I always tell people, don't ever complain about rain because we never know when we're going to get it again. So yes. I'm sure you guys needed it. So I'm sure you guys are very happy. Joel, at any point on Saturday night and into Sunday, did you just want to just maybe just for a little bit?
You know what? I did, even though I had to follow the game on social media. But it's good to see, the team starting with a win, which is, I think, is the first time in 5 years. Juwan could correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a while since Chivas has won on opening match day, and it's good to see Pulido scoring, and also Chofis, who. Before the game, Almeida had been saying he was going to use him as a sub, and then he starts him. So
now, Joel, with the big victory, and with the way the league is right now, should LigaMX officials just go ahead and cancel the rest of the season and just give the trophy to Chivas yet once and for all? I mean, at this point, the season is va a ser una temporada de trámite, right? I mean, it's just procedural.
No, games have to be played, John.
Okay, all right. Well, it's good to have you on the show, Joel. I'm sure that we will discuss that game at length in addition to some of the other topics we have on the table tonight. So thank you for joining us. Over in Long Beach. Oh, we had somebody in Long Beach, but he fell off. And you see, we start talking bad about Chivas and actually good about Chivas. And once again, you know what it is because it must be his Pachuca time on the calendar.
He also has that Chivas TV connection.
Oh, that's right. He is using Chivas TV. He is using Chivas TV internet right now. So I'm sure that explains why he's having a hard time. He's having a hard time connecting. He has to dial into the show. So hopefully he'll connect But in the meantime, we do have with us over in Kyle, Texas, in the southeast corner of Travis County here in the Austin area, the technical director of our and social media director of our show, and password hacker extraordinaire. Of course, we're talking about Albert El Chiquiscampa. Albert, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Cracking codes. Yeah, I got a calling number for everyone. It's 724-707-3826, the same as always. And the pin is 13118. I posted it on all social media sites.
Well, excellent. Hopefully, and of course, if you guys listen to us live, feel free to participate on the chat. We would love to hear from you both in written form and in audio form. So hopefully we will be able to hear you guys and give us your questions, comments, critiques, etc. Later on in the show. So let's jump right in. Hopefully Juan Uribe, our resident professor, our beloved Cambiarrayas, will hop back on. See, I was talking pretty about Chivas, and he either gets offended or he just doesn't hear it, and then he pretends like it never happened. So. But we'll get into it. Now, Chiquis, I know that you were watching the Chivas Pumas game. I mean, really for a first week game in LigaMX after a long break. I mean, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was watching the Tigre Santos game, and just the first half, I was like, I'm done with it.
Yeah. So you did you cambia gatos that night?
Yeah, like halfway through, changed it to pre-Pumas game and watched a little bit of the Leon game, which was there's some goals there, and then but the Pumas Chivas, that was a really good game. I was enjoying that one. Sort of upset with Picolín hyping up the Chofis goal and all that, but
yeah, well, Chofis he fooled him. I mean, you can get mad at Picolín all you want. I mean, the Chofis.
But did he really even do anything? He was just like coming at. I think he was more psyched himself out. Like he expected something to happen, and he just.
Well, what he was expecting to happen was he was expecting him to go far post. I mean, and he had Chofis had positioned his body as if he was going to go hard, far post, and then he at the last second he totally changed it, and he just passed it into the back of the net. Good for Chofis. I've never understood why players, especially Mexican players, for some reason, just think that they have to kick it as hard as they possibly can into the net. Sometimes, they're so desperate to score, or whatever the case may be, that sometimes all you have to do is just pass it in, and that's exactly what you do. Just slotted it past them. But you're right, though. Picolín definitely fell for it. So, but those things happen. I mean, his brother had just retired. I mean, you gotta, his wonder twin brother has retired. So that he probably only feels like he's half a guy out there because he's playing soccer for the first time in his life without his brother.
Yeah, he's missing the link.
That's right. And I know a lot of Picolín fans go across the world, and there are many of us were in mourning when Picolín defender announced his retirement. So imagine how his brother felt. Just heartbreaking. But the big news though, Joel, in that game was that we were talking about Chofis is that the right people scored for Chivas in the sense that the people that have probably the most pressure on them to perform this season. We're talking about La Chofis, and we're talking about Rodolfo Pizarro, who the $16 million man, and then the $20 million man, Alan Pulido, is the one that ended up getting the game winner. And again, I mean, it's the players that needed to perform are the ones that performed. I mean, that has to be, for a Chivas fan, that has to be very. That has to be very reassuring and comforting.
No, yeah, it is. It is. I think we talked about this earlier. This team just needed time to gel, and Pulido even said it. He's been now. He managed to do preseason. So I think a lot of these players that were together, they've been together for a while, and the incorporations, the newer transfers. So we're beginning to see that the result of having a group.
Well, it's. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, they look like they're going to be a team that's gonna as long as they can, like you said, play well together and not avoid some misfortunes. I mean, they're going to be a team that's going to definitely be contending there toward the end. Of course, it's easy for us to say that after week 1, but I mean, it's.
I think this next game is going to be a better measuring stick because Pumas. I mean, I wouldn't say is exactly a strong team right now.
Now you
the first 10 minutes or so, Pumas was looking dangerous. Nicolas, that dude's speedy. So I would say Pumas. I mean, Chivas. It doesn't need to be getting all uppity on themselves right now. They just barely beat Pumas really because some of their shots came really close for Pumas in the first half, and it could have been a pretty different game.
Well,
Actually, I'm sorry. Hey guys.
Good
evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Dan.
A little
Daniel
bit late.
Penciala from Escondido joins us. Dan, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just to chime in, I actually thought Chivas was pretty lucky to go away with the win.
Thank you, Dan. You're exactly right. But I'll let you expand, please.
Yeah, just throughout the game, there was that one questionable call where, like, I don't know, conveniently or inconveniently, we weren't unable to see whether or not that goal was really offside or not. And there was lots of other chances where Pumas could have easily scored, probably should have scored.
Well, it did hit 3 posts in the game.
Yeah. I sympathize. My team had a similar experience. Ball just wouldn't go in. But I didn't see any kind of performance from Chivas to say that they were clearly the better team. I think both teams had their moments, but overall, I actually think Pumas played better throughout. If we're gonna just generalize the game, I think they deserved better, I guess. But goals are what count.
Right. It's Pumas was just unlucky. I mean, they did play well. They like you mentioned, the kid Gallardo had a really good game down the left, but the thing that stung Pumas was what stung them in the Tigres game is that they would have these lapses of defensive whatever it is, just they would go narcoleptic for 10 minutes and the other team would come in and get their goals, and then that was that. And that's unfortunately what happened to Pumas. But as a Pumas fan, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, it was encouraging. I remember the year they made the final, I guess 2 seasons ago. They played Toluca and lost similarly 2-1. And I remember even after the game, I was like, man, we don't play very well here anyway. But the fact that they, the way that they played actually was very encouraging. It was very early in the season. Sure enough, they ended up.
I'm with you, John. If I was
place.
a Pumas fan, I'd be very encouraged just with the way the team. I'm really impressed with what Valencia is doing with the team. I mean, they looked a whole lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting an ass whooping, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Chiquis.
I just want to highlight that player, man. I forget his last name, Nicolas, whatever his name is.
Oh, the new Chilean guy, or
Yeah,
the Mexican winger.
No, Castillo.
Nicolas Castillo, I think, the Chilean forward. That guy has got some speed, and he's going to be, I think, scoring a lot of goals for Pumas.
Well, Pumas, they desperately needed us. They desperately needed a striker. That's one thing that they really haven't had. I mean, really since Martin Bravo left, and Martin Bravo was okay. I mean, he wasn't anything. He was serviceable, but he wasn't any. He didn't wet the pants of the defenders like some guys can, and maybe that's what this Castillo guy will turn into. We can only hope. Now again, I asked Joel a question about Chivas. I mean, the fact that it was Pizarro that set up Pulido for the second goal, and it was La Chofis that scored the first goal. For Chivas, that has to be very encouraging too, Joel.
Yeah, Pulido's already talking about, they could have a good partnership, or how his goal scoring can improve. Just not as scoring as chances, having Pizarro, and that's something that he wants to gun for is being the league's maximum goal scorer.
Now, when Politos made that comment, Joel, when he declared himself as the front runner for the goal for the LigaMX Golden Boot at the end of the season, I mean, as a fan, are you like, I'm glad that he has the confidence in himself that he's going to do it? You go, dude, shut your dang mouth.
No, that's what he was brought for. That's what he was paid the top money for.
So you want him to say that?
He has to say that. I think that's the correct attitude. He has to. I mean, I won't be disappointed if he doesn't. If he doesn't deliver, but you have to at least want it. You have to set those goals. But I wanted to say something to Dano. You seem a bit harsh on my goats, but
Go on.
but you know what, Dan? I agree with you, but one thing to keep note about Chivas is that they've been having a hard time winning at home, like especially against the stronger teams. By stronger I mean top of the table teams, and even holding on to their advantages. So I mean that they were able to pull the win. I think that was pretty good. I'll take that small victory.
Well, it wasn't a small victory, Joel. I mean, it was the full 3-point kind of victory. So it was.
No, I know, but the whole that we kind of the panzazo type. I'll take it.
Well, as Daryl Royal said here many years ago, old former Texas Longhorn coach back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, said, "I'd rather have old ugly than old nothing." And sometimes winning ugly and winning pretty count exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think any kind of alarm. I'm not trying to raise any kind of alarm bells as far as Chivas. I think I was more trying to compliment Pumas.
Oh.
Yeah, I more than anything, I think I was just trying to sing Pumas praises because I wasn't expecting that much of a game from them.
And as a Pumas fan, I appreciate that.
Use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to kiss up, guys.
But Dan, they had qualified. They had qualified to the Liguilla last season, so it's not
just like barely though. I mean, I don't think, and then I don't think anybody was really expecting them, expecting much from them. And I don't think many people would probably have them penned for Liguilla spot this season.
Who's that? Who are you talking about?
I'm saying people in general because I think people are yeah,
I agree with
you. As I'm telling you, as fans of Mexico and Mexican soccer team, you guys want Chivas and Pumas to play well. Understand that.
Oh yeah, I think he's saying that Pumas, with their budget, historically, don't really bring in the huge players, and they use a bunch of canteranos, and so you don't expect Pumas to like be a top 4 team.
And you know what the best part about that is that they do that and they win championships.
Yes. So you can't count them out.
Exactly.
And especially since another big thing I took from the game was like in the first, like I was saying, the first 10 or 15 minutes, Almeida was like stressing out, man. You can see he was pooping in his pants. The pressure that Pumas was getting, he was like, what is going on here?
He came very close to sweating out all the mousse in his hair. There's no question. There's no question that definitely.
I think the press would have been awfully critical on Almeida had he lost that game and ruined and like ended the streak.
Oh, the streak of 36 was it 34 years that Pumas hasn't won in the Jalisco against Chivas.
Oh yeah, that's.
See, but again, this is reminds me of the
Honduras.
Well, not that when America played Chivas, this last season, they beat them in the season. They beat them in Copa MX, but when it really counted, who ended up winning? America did. They beat them in the Liguilla twice, and and to me, that all that talk about winning the regular season, whatever, but when they play in the Liguilla, Pumas wins. So, you can take you can enjoy that 30. I hope that streak, goes another 34 years. As long as Pumas keeps winning the postseason, it don't really matter. It don't matter.
Yeah, another thing.
You sound like an Americanista talking about Chivas.
Y usted no me va a decir qué carajo tengo que hacer.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
Ganging up on Joel's goats.
Hey man, I said they were gonna win, and I said it with lots of confidence that they were gonna win. So I mean, I was right.
Now, Joel Dan was happy to hear that you were going to join us tonight because he wants to get. He's a little low. He's not quite strung out yet, but he is jonesing a little. He needs his weekly Chepo report. So if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, Chepo Watch 2000.
Estamos obligados. So if you could let us know what happened in the Santos game and what your expectations are for the season.
Well, I think taking a point from El Volcán is a good way to start the season.
Absolutely.
Granted, Tigres wasn't at full strength, but that doesn't matter at the end of the season. So I think they're in line to meeting the goals they set. They face Veracruz next at home, so that I think we'll see. Because Tigres, even if they had their second team, that's still a team that's been together for a very long time with the exact same coach.
Now, earlier, Dan, you mentioned that Santos was unlucky. They couldn't breach the goal mouth. So, did you like the way that the team performed? Up until that point, on the field, or were they creating chances, or was it just?
They were creating chances. I wouldn't call it like the prettiest brand of soccer, but they were effective in moving the ball around, and yeah, they created enough chances where you think one of them would have gotten in. I screamed a few times at the TV. Like, it's always funny. Like, I don't know if you guys do the same, but I scream in Spanish.
Did you wake
What's
the
that?
baby? Did you wake the baby up?
I scared him. I was holding him.
Good.
I jarred him. I woke him up a little bit. Like made sure he was paying attention. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
So do you drop like an hijo de su and just let out a?
For some reason, I since my kids don't understand Spanish, I guess I find it okay to curse in Spanish. So, but yeah, there was a couple of
Yeah.
I let my potty mouth get out a little bit, out of control. But ultimately, I'm encouraged. I think they're gonna be fine this season. I'll definitely encourage because, like you said, even though it was an undermanned, not full strength Tigres team, it's still Tigres. They still had plenty of good players there, and they didn't really. I'm gonna say Chepo did a great job. Tigres didn't look at all effective and didn't. I mean, they had their chances as well, but I thought they were limited. And I think they did a real good job of disrupting what they were trying to do.
Now you've given Joel his Chepo fix. I need my I need my Chaton fixed. Did he play?
No, he did not. The only I'm trying to see the newbies were obviously the keeper. So he played, and also Furch started.
Okay.
Obviously it's going to take a while to integrate some of these players, but they kind of decided to go along with some of the kids. So they did pretty good, man. They did good.
Yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about as far as your.
I do think though that these horrible seasons are still gonna. I think relegation is still gonna be an issue, maybe more so next season.
I don't think so because I looked at the numbers, and they don't have one of those 10, 11. They had a 16-point season, which is. It's bad, but it's not. I mean, it's not 10 or 11 points. You know what I mean? So if they can come out with 24, 25, you won't even have to worry.
I'm thinking as long as they make the Liguilla, if they're able to make Liguilla next to torneos, I'm pretty sure they're going to be all right.
Yeah, no, believe me, if they get between 20 and 24 points this season, they'll be fine because they don't have. This was their only bad season. I mean, they've been hovering right around there.
The season prior to them winning the championship was really poor. They eked into the playoffs, so they didn't accumulate that whole lot of points when they won the championship. And then all last year was a disaster.
I understand that, but look at Morelia, who they've been for 2 years. They've been a team that's been flirting with the Liguilla. So they've been okay. They haven't been terrible, but 2 years ago they had a terrible 2 seasons where they had 11 points and 10 points, and it is still haunting them because they're still way down because of that. So when you have those kinds of seasons and you string a couple of them together, then you're in serious trouble.
Gotcha.
So that's but that's good to hear, though. I mean, Santos, honestly, since they've been in the league, they joined in the early '90s. They've been, easily, and I've said this on the show before, they have probably been one of the more consistent teams in the league. I mean, they might have 1 or 2 bad seasons, but then they'll follow up with like 4, 4, 5, 6 seasons in a row where they're just always there, and they win. So.
Yeah, they got a formula that they're obviously a well-run organization. Even without the beer money now, I was just encouraged with the signings also because I was thinking that we're gonna just be. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but like when you have Martin Bravo as your striker, it doesn't really fill you with confidence.
No, especially after. I mean, let's face it. I mean, as a Santos fan, you have not lacked for strikers. I mean, you've had good strikers for 20 years. I mean, it is.
Yeah, it's been one after another, like
Right.
Probably 3 or 4 really, really good, probably amongst the best in the league. That's why they always end up as Águilas eventually.
Right. Because went from Borghetti to
I think we're probably one of the. I don't know how to describe it, I guess, but it's kind of cool. Like I fully accept the fact that my team is considered small and insignificant, but they won a whole lot more than the supposed significant teams.
Well, see, that's what cracks me up. Like I would never, I've always looked at Santos as, if you're winning and you're, it doesn't matter where. I mean, to me, it's like the Packers. The Packers play, in a town that's the size of Georgetown, which is, just north of here with like maybe 30,000 to 40,000 people. It's not a very big city, Green Bay. Obviously, it has a huge national following. But I mean,
and that's the thing. Torreon is not even small. It's actually, I mean, the whole area is quite large.
Well, I know. It's a big city.
But I guess maybe it's not the sexiest of places. It's the desert. So I guess maybe that has something to do with the fact that it's kind of still a relatively new team with a short history, even though it's they've made a name for themselves in that short time. But I still think they're looked at in that sense as a small team or insignificant team. I distinctly remember just about every time we've made the final, the description from regular fans is like, all right, worst final ever, Santos, and then fill in the blank.
Well, see, but that's the point, though, is then they're obviously not looking at the way Santos plays, because it's not like Santos has gotten to finals by sculling out 1-0 games. They just don't play like that. They've always been a team that just goes after it. I mean, when you have a guy like Pony Ruiz and Jared Borghetti, I mean, geez, you're not going to bore out a 1-0 game.
Yeah, and then you had Ludueña with Chucho and Darwin and Woso. I mean, man, we've had some good times.
And Oribe, and
Oribe, of course.
I mean, that's Blanco.
I mean, that season Oribe had, it was in 2012, from like the beginning of 2011 to the end of 2012 at the Olympics. I mean, the dude had ended up scoring like over 40 goals in all competitions. I mean, he had the season of his life.
Yeah, he figured it out, man. I'm still a fan, obviously. I'm figuring he'll probably make a return at some point.
Let's hope he does. He's from Torreon, right? So yeah, let's hope that they let him.
I'm trying to remember if he was another one that cried when talking about the club, because I know he's got. I believe he is from Torreon, so I pretty sure he, that's where his heart is.
Now, when I was a little kid, when I first started getting into the sport, when I could I heard things and I maybe saw some pictures, and those are all my memories. I remember there was a team in that area, but it was called Laguna, and they were like, I guess when I was a kid, they were the worst team, and then like they were, God, I can't even remember what colors they were, but it turned out it was the the team before Santos, because Santos, they just like were. Oh, and how did Santos enter the league? They weren't
kind of bought their way.
promoted. Yeah, exactly. They just like had a team move there, and that became Santos, right?
John, when I started watching, and this was Chivas striker was Daniel Guzman, Misael Espinosa, and Santos was already in the league. They had Olaf Heredia.
I love
was
me some Olaf Heredia.
He was the goalkeeper.
He was
Yeah.
he was the Pumas goalkeeper.
Our resident historian Ron is not here.
Man, I thought that he would be the goalie in Mexico '86, but they ended up going with Pedro Larios, and Olaf was the second goalkeeper.
Pablo Larios Iwasaki.
Yeah.
Who was? Correct me if I'm wrong, John. He wasn't he playing in second division at the time?
That I'm not sure, but I remember him as a kid. So I mean, I know that he was. I want. God, who did he? I want to say he was maybe. Oh man, I'll get hate mail if I get it wrong. So, damn it, I don't remember. I thought it was Tigres, but I might be wrong. I think Pilar Reyes was Tigres, and he was the one before that. But I know damn sure who Olaf Herrera played for. he was a Puma. In fact, he ended up on the coaching staff in the '94 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he? Wasn't he one of the
goalkeeper coach? Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's terrific. He was a great goalkeeper. Because back then the best goalkeeper in Mexico was Miguel Marin, but he was from Argentina. I mean, he was clearly
Superman.
Yeah, I mean, how many teams have consider their goalkeeper one of their top 3 players?
He's the only one that could score no goal with the hand and get away with it.
That is exactly right. For those of you that don't know, you can Google or on YouTube Miguel Marin autogol and watch one of the most painful autogols you've ever seen in your life. It is, but again, I mean, but seriously, Miguel Marin was, I mean, if you talk to any Cruz Azulino, they will, easily tell you, oh yeah, he's one of the. And how many other goalies can we say that about in LigaMX? Not very many, if at all. But so at that time, then Olaf Herrera was the second best keeper in LigaMX, and he played for Pumas. So in essence, he was the best Mexican goalkeeper, at least right when I left Mexico, and then they ended up going with Larios, and it was Bora too. So obviously Bora knew something. Maybe Olaf.
Santos was already playing, and I think Chivas had even acquired Ramon Ramirez from Santos.
That's right.
So went on to become one of the club's most iconic players.
Man, he was one of those. Yeah, he was good. He was good for both teams because I think he was on the team that won their first championship back in '93 or '94. Ramon Ramirez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was there from '90 to '94.
Indeed. Well, it's good to hear that Santos is going well. Obviously, we have the Chivas.
I did have a question about, though, as far as obviously Santos didn't play nice and reschedule the game. Is there an official reason, or is there like I don't understand how Jaguar is being in such an extreme relegation battle. They have an awesome chance to play a strong team at less than full strength. Why would they agree to move it?
Jaguar's probably got some incentive, money-wise, given their problems. But I actually was.
They're giving EBT cards.
I was actually doing the Chiva contra Chiva, which you won. We're actually discussing this. And so yeah, no.
You're not going to discuss it tonight, right? Because we want.
We
want to be done by 4 o'clock. Okay.
Chepo didn't want to reschedule. He was like this. He said the schedule was set a year before, but if they did reschedule, they would end up having to play like a double jornada. So he didn't want to. He didn't want to hassle.
It's a smart move. I
agree.
I'm shocked. It's like, yeah, of course. Why would they do that? Like,
Do you think Jaguares had a choice?
So that's I know that's what I've been hearing. So I'm like, it raises eyebrows. It's like how a team in such a horrible position would just like, all right, sure, we'll give you a chance so that
But
you can
Tuca
find your mojo
complained.
again.
You know, Tuca complained because Tigres tried to get the league. They tried to get the league to reschedule it, and the league didn't. The league said, you know, it's up to Santos if they want to.
Yeah,
Santos said we don't want to because then we're gonna be stuck having to play like a doble jornada or a midweek game,
Yeah,
and
because
we
then
have our own problems to deal with.
they have the Conca Champions to play, so they have they might have an additional 6 games on the schedule. So
yeah, I just thought it was interesting that, but
now Jaguares, they were scheduled to play America. Yeah, what a shock, right? So America's first game is in the jungle after losing the final and after being jet lagged, coming back from Tokyo. What an amazing coincidence. And then it turns out that they decided that they were a little too tired and they couldn't make it, so they're gonna not play that game. They have to go grab their whoobies and take a nap, and they'll come back and play it in a couple weeks. When they should play it is during the Fecha FIFA is when they should play it. But so Jaguares is not part of the equation for the porcentaje. But although the other teams won, Morelia won, right, Joel? Morelia won, and also in Veracruz won both.
Rivas continued to be one of the best signings of LigaMX.
Rui Diaz, yeah, he's from Peru. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm telling you. I believe that Morelia has that extra motivation.
Oh, John, before we move on, the interesting thing about America postponing their game, so now their first game of the season will be against Toluca, who's yeah, so they're playing against their former player who they let go.
Against Sambuesa.
Sambo.
That's right.
And they were which is funny, they were going to play against their other former player.
Moises. Well, there's former America players on every team in LigaMX.
Disgruntled players.
You think that? Yeah.
Well, Moise sounds like a politician, like he is probably like Ronnie was saying that it sounded like a guy that's vying for a future gig. Because he had nothing negative to say. He's like, no, everything's cool. It's not exactly what I wanted, but like it's cool. Like I got no beef with the organization at all. Like it's like
it's too bad that
way to not burn a bridge.
That our Cambiarrayas has come and gone. Maybe he's listening to us. But I was curious, because he had both the Pachuca game and Chivas were on at the same time. So I was wondering how he was handling such how he would juggle that. Because that usually isn't the case because they play home games at alternate on alternate weekends, so there's never a conflict there. But last night or the other night on Saturday night there was Pachuca playing León and Chivas playing Pumas at the same time. So I was curious where his allegiances were laying at which particular moment. But we should talk about Pachuca because they did come from behind to beat their.
Actually, they were playing an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier.
Oh, they played at 7? I thought they played at 8.
Yeah, they played at 7. León.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was at 8 o'clock. So there was no heart pulling there for Cambiarrayas. Well, thanks for ruining my my drama there.
I'm sure his heart was
Chiquis.
with Pachuca, though. I mean, I'm sure he was wooed by all those goals by Chucky.
One thing he could be looking at is like the goal leader, because Pulido came in saying that he was going for the title, and then Chucky just ruined, from the starting to ruin his momentum.
Oh, don't instigate there.
Oh, he killed it already, man. Chucky. There's no way Pulido's gonna.
Don't spess out, gentlemen. Don't.
It's just one game, but it's just one game. But
it is one game.
But he took a gigantic lead, man.
It is one game
against another Grupo Pachuca team. Just throwing that out there.
And not only that, but the team where he has scored, he's like Chelsea, was for Chicharito, the team that he just scores on. And I think that was like his 8th or 9th goal that he'd scored against León. But regardless of the fact, I mean, the guy got a hat trick. He was the only Mexican among the top 10, I believe, in scoring in the last season. The only one. So Chucky, little Chucky can score. The question is, at what point is Chucky going to, is he going to take that gigantic leap forward? Is this going to be it for him? I mean, he even said today, he said, listen, I'll play wherever. Just don't, if you're going to sell me, don't sell me to another Mexican team, is what he said today.
Oh.
He just needs to stay there then.
He needs to be careful what he wishes for, because he could be on his way to. He could be on his way to Shanghai.
with Raul Jimenez.
No, I obviously don't think that's going to happen. But my question to y'all is: look, let's say he has he has a 10-goal season, right? Maybe about 10 would be okay. And he, the Osorio finally realizes that maybe this is the kind of guy in games like this I need to bring off the bench, and he brings him off the bench, and he's becomes like the super sub guy, and gets a couple of good goals in Russia. I mean, at that point, this is his. If he wants to go, then it has to be on him. If he pulls that stuff off, I mean, he has a chance to go to.
Just about anywhere.
A quality team, yeah, anywhere in the world.
Well, right now people are talking about him going even after one game. Oh, he needs to go to Europe, or where can he go in Europe? I think exactly like what you're saying. 10 goals, needs to score some teams for the national team. But I think the one key is that the words "pecho frío" need not come out of Joel's mouth when referring to Chucky. This whole.
But
that's what Joel was saying all last year. Pecho frío.
Well, he's talking about specifically to the national team, and I think that question remains unanswered.
But
I think
that's
it's a little bit harsh to call him a pecho frío based on just solely the Olympics, but I do think that he still has to prove himself. I think
what did he do in the final? What did he do in the Pachuca final when they won? Exactly, pecho frío. It was the Chivas defender that.
Dude, he's 20 years old. Give him a chance.
Don't. All the top players were 20 years old when they were.
Hey, I agree, but
Neymar, you name it.
It's funny you bring Neymar up. Do you think Neymar is a better player now, or do you think he was a better player when he was in Brazil? Honestly,
I never really did see him in Brazil. So
well, do you think he was more dynamic in Brazil? In the highlights that you saw, in what you saw in Brazil.
I didn't even do that match.
I don't think I personally never thought I was never all that impressed with him, to be honest with you.
No. I'm just saying if he can do well, and if Joel doesn't call him pecho frío throughout this whole year, then he's going to Europe. He will go to Europe.
Chiquis, pecho frío only applies when it's that do or die game. The regular season doesn't matter, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I disagree. I disagree with you on that point. The regular season matters a lot when you're an agent trying to sell you.
No, I know, but you could still be a good player. That doesn't take away the pecho frío thing.
But that's the thing, though, Joel, is regardless of whether he is or not. I mean, teams aren't going to get him for 3 games in June. They're going to get him for 50 games from September to May. So I mean, I think in 50 games, I think Chucky would be a good investment.
No, that I mean, I'm not taking away from him being.
The rumors of 20 million. Do you guys think that's if true? Do you think that's too much of that what Pachuca's asking for?
Well, it depends on how he does this summer.
See, that's the interesting thing.
It's all on him.
I know a lot of people think that 20 is an extreme amount, but considering how much some of the other much lesser players, in my opinion, have sold for, I think he's very.
Chivas overspending.
Not so much just Chivas, but just other Mexican players in general. Well, I was thinking like Raul and just some of the other guys that have
he went for 12. Raul went for 12.
Chicharito went for about 10.
Yeah, probably less.
Yeah, and I think Lozano's gotten. I think he's shined more so than those players did when they left. I thought Chicharito's. I mean, he I think had one solid year.
Well,
For,
that's why I say that yeah, you're right. Chicharito had that one solid season, in the right before the World Cup,
Yes,
and Javier Aguirre rewarded him by keeping him on the bench.
I mean, Lozano's been. I mean, it seems like he's been
Wait.
around for a while already.
I need to mention one other thing. Chicharo looked good in Copa America. I mean Copa Libertadores. He helped Chivas make it to the final, and then Vergara sold him, which still to this day makes me salty. I remember River Plate had something similar. They had Hernan Crespo, and they bought him from Parma.
So
they were in first division.
So
That was
let me get this straight.
hey, and
Joel, let me get this straight, Joel. So you're watching Chicharito have like the season of his life, as a Chivas fan. He scored 2 goals for the first, was it 3 or 4 games of the season? Just like he had, like by game 5, he had like 8 goals already.
And then he's going to South America and also killing it.
Just killing it, right? So you're thinking, finally, we got the guy.
Yes.
This is the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land.
I don't want to go there.
While you're bringing up the promised land, and then you wake up in the morning and you see the picture of Javier in Old Trafford with the with his shirt that says Chicharito on the back of it.
No, well, I was happy.
I just pobrecito. I feel so bad for you.
No, I was
awesome.
happy. I was happy that he no, John. Let's. You know what the sad flute applies? It applies to Chicharo playing the MLS All-Star game. Friendly match. MLS All-Stars versus
Manchester United
versus Man U in the same week that Chivas was playing the final against Independiente from Brazil for the Copa Libertadores, man. That really hurt. And that's when I remember the whole Crespo thing, because I remember Crespo.
hey, you know what?
I'll just finish. River Plate, actually, they had already sold Crespo, but under the condition he remained until they played the final. They played América de Cali, and they won the cup. They won the Libertadores. Crespo scored 2 goals. And I was like, why couldn't we do the same thing, man? They really need to do a preseason with Man U. They weren't even expecting him to be a starter.
They weren't expecting him to. Well, if you read the gringo media, they thought it was just a publicity, like signing a guy from China.
So do you resent? Wasn't that De La
Lebrica.
Torre though who did that? Wouldn't that be his fault for
No.
allowing the easy exits, or no?
He wasn't
It
there. He wasn't there. It was the dude from Toluca.
No, he didn't do.
He quit
Jolie.
because of that. No. Lebrica was at Chivas.
No. Please, no. Please don't do it. I know you did.
Vergara and his wife did the deal behind Lebrija's back, and he quit it as a result. We're not fighting. There's no Chiva contra Chiva here.
Yeah. It's not. We actually agree on this.
Yeah, dude, it was.
Lebrija.
I just don't want to hear it.
No.
Here's where the sad flu comes in. Chivas lost the Golden Goose as a result of that deal, because he was having this breakout season. He was phenomenal. There's 2 wrongs that season. One is losing Lebrija. He just came from Toluca, where he won like I don't know how many trophies. The 2 with Chepo. Anyways, the other bad part is Cheech was leading the league in scoring. And then they called him up to Vasco's camp like 4 weeks before the season ended or something.
He still stayed, even though he missed 8 games.
And he still won the scoring championship.
I think he had to, like Cole. He was, I think, another guy.
Actually, he tied with.
Yeah, he did tie.
They tied him. Actually, they tied him because he was leading the pack.
Right.
Wasn't it Urquiles Gomez that was tying him?
Yeah, Hercules did it in 17. Chicharito did it in 11.
That's great.
Yeah, but that really, the really sad flu part was losing Lebrija, man. He won with Tolo. He had he had championships with Tolo Gallego.
Juan, losing Lebrija to losing a Libertadores title.
Yeah. Nah, what I mean, dude,
I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude. To me, Lebrija would have like 5 more stars with Chivas right now.
Do you think you guys? Do you think you really had a chance against?
Yeah,
to
it
win
was
the
a
final?
close game, dude, and we had Bofo,
So-
dude. We had Bofo, my angel.
All right, that's John's cue that he doesn't like that Chivas talking anymore.
That's all right. No, I'm giving y'all a nice bed. If I'm gonna have to listen to it, at least I
I'm
can
trying
hear some good
I'm
music.
trying to play nice, John, since I shat on them earlier.
Que se le está chingando las pelotas hablando.
Exactly. Thank you, Tuca. Thanks, San Tuca. I spoke to my friend from Monterrey tonight, a guy that lives in Monterrey, and I asked him. I said, "Have they changed San Nicolás de los Garza to San Tuca yet?" He says it's under consideration at the city level. But yes, please. So as far as Chucky, what I think what might happen with his boys, that if he does go, I don't think he needs to go to an Ajax or to a Porto. He needs to go to a Sevilla or an Inter. He needs to go to a club like that if he's going to make the move and prove himself there.
Nah, dude. You know what?
He has the skill.
Ajax, the Netherlands would be a good transition place for any player.
I don't think it's going to be challenging enough.
Ryan, come on, dude. You saying he's not good enough? You need a transition.
I'm saying he needs time to adapt, dude. Look
That's
how
Ryan. Come on.
I personally don't think it's going to happen. They're not going to have
Mental
the
midget
money.
mentality.
They're never going to have the money to pay for him for one. But you're going to tell me the Dutch league is that much better than the Mexican league? I think they're very equal. There's no way he's going to go there and dominate. I mean, if that's what you want to see, I think that's what he would ultimately do. But he's perfectly capable to join a very big team and contribute.
He could join any team. You could have said the same thing about Chicharo. He needs to go to Ajax to transition. You just need a coach.
I think Tecatito
feels that you're
a coach
good.
that believes in you. Yeah.
Yeah, that you could fit their system and that he's going to use you.
I mean,
Well,
look at what
think it
Sir
could be
Alex
true.
told Chicharo. Sir Alex told Chicharo, "I want you to crash the 6-yard box on every play." That's what he told him to do, and then look how good he was at doing it. So if Chucky can find a guy that says, tells the coach, "I want you to play on the left and cut inside and shoot at the goal," that's Chucky's guy.
Also, I just want to add, we make it seem like it's really difficult, but there's a lot of petardos that end up in Europe. And then you don't hear about a year or two later. That's
what I'm saying, Juan, is that I personally believe that Chucky has the talent to play on any team on the planet. And that's just, he's proven it. He's shown it. And he has one more season to really prove it. And, this is on him. If that's what he wants to do, then
I think being able to distinguish yourself and look clearly better than just about all your competition, if you're able to do that in the Mexican league, to me you're pretty proven already.
No, I don't disagree with you at all.
I hear a lot of the chatter and I would say I think it's pretty fair to say the Dutch league is a good transition league. I would agree for a lot of the younger players, maybe, but I think he's already done enough. I don't think he needs to take that intermediate step. I think he's ready to get plugged in just about anywhere. And
now, there's some other dynamics that are in play here. Now, Chucky's a young father, right? So he would take his family with him. Is he going to take his, is he going to be a guy that has to take like a whole, like support group like Chicharito did to, to help him with the transition, or is it just going to be him and his wife and this kid? So that's another thing he's going to have to think about if he decides to make the move, and it sounds like he already is. And I agree with you, Dan. I think the fact that he's, proven himself and has for the past 3 years in this league, there's no reason, to think that he has to go to any, and he's been a professional for 3 years, so he's.
That's why I think Pachuca. That's why I think Pachuca's playing it smart. Ask for a bunch of money now, because if he actually lights it up, you could always take less later. But if he lights it up in the summer, you could actually ask for more. His
Here's
price
the-
tag, his price tag is only going to get higher the better he does.
I think he's going to the World Cup, and I think that would that's keeping him up there. You know.
For many people though, they think that's going to be too late for him to have left.
No,
But how old is he, man? 21?
He's either 20 or 21. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, he's not gonna be old, man. He's good age.
He'll be 23. But you know, the worst thing he could do is go to England. Absolutely avoid it. He doesn't have the body. The build for it.
The Bundesliga or the La Liga would, or even Serie A, I think would be. Although Serie A is pretty rough too.
I think he needs to spend at least a year in the league adapting to the pace of the game, the European game. It's a little bit faster.
Chicharo went to EPL. You would have said the same thing. That's the worst thing you could do. Go to the EPL.
Actually, that's different though, because Cheech went with what's his name, Alex Ferguson, and for him is like if you have heart and you put in the work, you know he's gonna give you shots.
Well, it's not about getting a shot though. According to your logic, he shouldn't even if given the shot, he shouldn't succeed based on how based on his physical characteristics.
I think he's gonna struggle to adapt. I don't think he's gonna hit the ground running. Just simply he doesn't have the build to excel. And if you look
I disagree.
There's no defense for
like,
speed.
look at the Mexicans in Portugal, like how
Wait,
you know
you
how
can
long
say the
it's
same about
taking them
Cheech
to
not
adapt.
having the physical thing.
Yeah, Cheech has a pretty wide body for a guy his height.
Not when he left.
Yeah, he bulked
Right.
up. And the
But
thing with Chucky though is that he relies on speed. He needs a counter-attacking team where he can just break out and get behind the defense.
Look at Nettie. Look at Nettie, who has a similar build as Chucky, and look how much he struggled, and look how easily he got injured. Getting that Cheech, he actually suffered a concussion in the offseason of his first year. So going into his second, it was a totally different year from his first year. Diminishing what Cheech did at Man U. What I'm saying is, you know, you need time to adapt to the speed of the game. Chicharito in England was his first touch was terrible. Anytime he had space to take a touch, it was very poor. So I think a guy like Chucky, just to get himself sharp, maybe stay out of Spain, stay out of
Come on, dude.
England,
There's no please.
and go wait, hold on, where the expectations are going to be enormous, the pressure is going to be enormous, and I don't know if he really has the character or the personality to take on all that pressure right,
So you call him
right
a
away.
Petrofrio.
That's what it sounds like. That's
You know
exactly
what?
what it sounds like.
You know what, dude? I don't think. I mean, if we take you guys out of your
No.
your regular workplace, most of you guys, it's gonna take you a little bit to adapt to a new situation, new city, make new friends, new teammates. And then on top, pile media pressure on top of that. I think
He's a special snowflake.
Ajax Amsterdam, that ain't no freaking or Querétaro or even Vergara Chivas. That's a really, I mean, it's a prestigious organization. They've produced some really wonderful talents.
Historically, yes, but currently not very much.
Yeah, they have been unfortunately irrelevant for about the past 15 to 20 years, which is very unfortunate to say, because I agree with you. They're historically they've been just at least since the 50s and 60s a very
they were actually yeah, you're right. They were actually improving with their manager when they put in the one of the De Boer twins, Frank De Boer. Name correctly, but he left premature to I think he went to.
Well, I personally believe that Chucky can play anywhere.
20.
So I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but that's certainly.
I'm thinking personally, Spain or Germany. Spain, because one, the language, that makes things a whole lot easier if you're able to talk to everybody. style of or speed of play, I think
he
it's
can play
probably
in
the most
Spain without any
closest
problem.
to the Mexican league. It's probably one of the slower leagues. I think Spain would probably be ideal for someone like him, and Germany, just because it seems like that for whatever the reason, you haven't seen exactly a single Mexican flop over there.
Well, it's a very offensive league, Germany.
Aaron Galindo.
They like to play.
No way, he was pretty decent. He held his spot. I think he was a starter while he was at Eintracht that season or two that he was there. I don't think he embarrassed himself. I don't think he came back as like he wasn't able to do it.
I remember when Ricardo Osorio
What
was
the-
at Stuttgart, and it was the year of the World Cup, and he wasn't playing. And and the coach like, hey, it's not personal. I just, I favor this other guy, and for what we're, because they were like fighting relegation at the time, and he's like, put, I want to, if you're not gonna play me on reserves, I'll play with the U20 team, whatever I can just to keep in game shape, and that's what he did. He played the entire season on reserve, just to maybe get ready for the World Cup. If he was gonna, and he ended up starting, and of course he played well for 359 minutes.
Osorio's problem was that he was actually a center back, but his body was more for an outside back. So in Germany, they wanted him to play, more as a right back, and I think that's a part of the reason where he struggled
Right.
the most, because he I think he preferred to be like a center back, but he doesn't.
He was a god. He was made to be on the línea de tres with somebody in the middle and one of the sides, and then the carrileros to cover up his speed deficiency. Yeah, no, he was. I've always liked him. I thought he was a really good defender. He just, made one bad mistake at the worst possible time.
Yeah, exactly.
He seems like one of those guys that was never forgiven for that.
But it's a good segue for us, because we do want to end the show tonight here, at least for the next, at least give the bulk of our attention to an announcement that was made earlier in the week by FIFA with the new president, Mr. Infantino, and they decided to, starting in 2026, which would be a World Cup that would more than likely be granted to a country in the CONCACAF region. Expanding the World Cup from 32 teams to 48 teams. And that was announced yesterday. And what would happen is that they would split the first round into 16 groups of 3 teams. And from there, the top two teams would advance. And then they would start, which honestly to me is actually just to me the best, if there is a good part of it, just from 32 down to 1, and that's the tournament. And I think that aside from the group stage, I mean, I can see the allure of a gigantic month-long 32 team one-off. I think is probably what the end game was here, but it seems like the method they're getting there is just doesn't look good. Dan, were you in favor of this decision, or do you see things differently?
Excuse me, sorry guys, I'm like choking here. I don't like it. I think 32 is a good number. Anything more than that, I think you're definitely allowing teams that don't really deserve to get in. But I think that group stage, as awful as it sounds from a viewer standpoint, it's a recipe for upsets.
You think so, huh?
I think so, because I've seen how that kind of format in the CONCACAF has it just like one bad game and that's it. You could potentially be out of it.
Well, you're absolutely. I mean, you have to beat the team that you're supposed to beat. You have to beat them. And
then, God forbid, you're in a notorious group of death, because I don't know. I mean, I haven't done the math, so I wouldn't know exactly how it shakes out, but it just seems like inevitably you're going to have a couple of really good teams that are some really good teams that wouldn't make it through. But those are my thoughts. I'm more, I guess, on this particular thing, I'm more traditionalist. I'd rather just keep it as is.
Okay. So one vote for. Why'd they do this? Okay. Chickies.
I don't agree with it. I don't want to see scrub teams eliminate. The qualifiers are what that's for, to weed out all the lesser teams and let the bigger teams go to the actual World Cup on the big stage.
Okay. So you're not necessarily in favor, I believe, is what you're trying to say. You're 100% against it.
Exactly.
All right. Joel. Joel, what you got?
Well, John,
Hit me.
it's this whole three team groups. It just doesn't sound very appealing. So that's pretty much 2 games per team, and you're gonna have because they're giving so many more tickets. From 32 to what 48.
Well, it'll be 48 teams, so the amount of games played in the group stage is actually going to stay the same. It's going to be 48.
No, but 16 more teams are going.
Yeah, 16 more teams are going.
And the majority of those teams are going to be pretty. Like you're going to have like the New Zealands and Pajarim or so,
Right. El Salvador.
and then John just took it there. And
Hey, I'm being honest.
yeah, and in their last World Cup, they lost 10-0. So anyway, don't distract me, John. But yeah, it's three. It's three. So one of the obvious thing is going to be the calendar. If you get to play and it's 2 teams qualifying from the group, so pretty much the weak team is going to get it. It's going to just get a beating.
Yeah, they're going to get a pretty good whipping because the weak teams are going to be very weak.
Yeah, the other 2 teams are just when they play each other, they're just pretty much going to go for the tie or to lose by the minimum.
Can you imagine a 20-0 game?
And then, yeah, and we saw it. We not 20-0, but El Salvador lost. What was it, 10 or 12 against Hungary? And then China against Portugal was like 7-0. So we're gonna see more results like that. It's just 3 team groups just doesn't make sense. So we're not gonna see very strong groups. They're not gonna put a Brazil, Germany. I doubt it.
Well, yeah, they'll be at opposite ends of the bracket as they always should be, at least until recently.
I said the wrong names. Brazil, Germany, obviously not. But the groups are even.
We know what you mean.
It would depend on the. You don't think there's a possibility that they would actually go with a random kind of like a cup where they just randomly select the groups? You don't think they would go that far?
No, I think that they would do it by straight up by FIFA ranking. But however many.
So more seats.
Basically, every group is going to have 1 European team. But before we get into the minutiae of this stuff, I do want to hear from our coach. Coach Cambia, what do you what do you think about the Switch?
I like it, man. I know you don't want to get into details. I like it, but look.
No, I want to get into. I want your opinion first, and then we'll get into the details.
Well, I like it, John, man. If you look at CONMEBOL, you look at some of the European teams that don't make it, like you end up with like I think the Hand of Frog last time that France Ireland didn't, right? That was a 2010, right?
Right.
So because I was looking at the qualifiers from Europe this year, and I can't remember which group, but there's a group of death. I think you have like Italy. Don't quote me which teams exactly. I'm gonna need you guys' help to remember that it has like I think it drew like I don't know if it's Italy, Germany, Netherlands, or something crazy like that, or Spain, Netherlands. Those teams historically, those are teams you want to see at the World Cup because they have the pedigree,
right?
And they got an unlucky draw. So I think, or maybe they just had a bad generation, but generally they have the pedigree. And then as far as blowouts, I mean, look at Germany. Look at what Germany did in Brazil. Like there's never been any European team to win a World Cup in the New World, and the South Americans have never won a trophy in Europe, and they basically
That's not true.
our
Brazil won
OFL
one in Sweden.
Wait, Brazil won in Sweden?
Yeah.
And then
they had a
the
teenager that turned out to be pretty good.
You're fired. You're fired.
That guy was a cachirul, dude. He was like Freddie Adu, right? He's really like 40 years old, no? All right.
He was every bit the 17-year-old he was. But so you think it's gonna even the playing field?
I mean, I think the cream always rises to the top, man. So you're still gonna have the same teams
right.
ending up in the knockout games.
Because here's what's gonna happen. I agree with you. So they're gonna have it's groups of 16. As it so happens, they're probably gonna expand the tournament to have 16 European teams. So guess how many European teams will be in each group? One. So every group is gonna have a European team. Not all of them are gonna be seeded though, right?
Yeah.
So you'd say half of them end up being seeded. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, maybe 8 of them get seeded, but then the other 8 will go into a different group. So you could still see a group of death, where if Mexico gets put into the bonbon.
Not so much a death if the two teams are.
Well, here's the thing, Joel. Is depending on. I personally think Mexico would get a seed, so I don't think they'll ever have to worry about this. But I do think they will get a seed. If Mexico gets a seed, right? Or if Mexico doesn't get a seed, they could be in a group if they have a top European team, which would say be a Germany, right? And then they could get like a mid-level South American team. No, but it's like there would not be 2 European teams in the group. Every group would only have 1 European team.
So like Peru.
Yeah. So what it should be, the way it should be balanced out, in my opinion, is have 1 European team, 1 American team, 1 team from, and then 1 either Asian or African team, if they're going to go this route. But here's the key to the whole. Go ahead.
No, but I was going to say, like, you could end up with like Germany, Croatia. I think that'd be pretty decent.
There's 3 European teams. They're not going to put.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be every group is going to have 1 European team. Every group will only have 1 European team because there's 16 groups, 16 European teams. So they're never going to have.
Potentially end up with.
No, you're going to have more teams from Oceania. So you're going to have like a New Zealand.
Right.
And
well, you might have one.
Fiji Islands or whatever. And then you're going to have more teams from CONCACAF.
No, they need to have a playoff. Like they can't have New Zealand go in when like Colombia and Paraguay.
New Zealand is going in. What?
No, but why are they going to have like a scrub New Zealand team and then have Colombia and Paraguay?
Because it's the World Cup. That's why.
Well, why don't they have a playoff for these final slots?
Okay.
And Paraguay can smoke everyone else.
Listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to make it all perfectly clear for y'all. Listen to what I'm going to say. I'm going to make it perfectly clear for all of y'all. All of y'all are exactly right. Why do the scrub teams? Because they know that the scrub teams are not going to make it. If one of the teams makes it into the round of 32, it's going to be a miracle. The real World Cup. This is a way to appease the gigantic African and Asian countries. Yes, okay, well, we're going to give you more countries to participate in the tournament. Africa and Asia. So I mean, and personally, I think African, as far as level of play, deserve, because I think that they, out of 8 teams, I think they could field 6 very competitive ones.
Not before CONMEBOL. CONMEBOL should be first place, I think.
Well, CONMEBOL should get. I mean, CONMEBOL, they're going to get. I mean, they have 6. I mean, but yeah,
not 5.
But they're going to get 6.
They're going to get 6 probably.
They should get all 10, really.
They're going to get 7.
Yeah.
Part of the proposal is to merge CONCACAF and CONMEBOL.
That's never going to happen.
It might, John.
And then
14 tickets.
Give them 14 spots. Give them 14 spots together.
That's so what they're talking about.
So you could potentially have all 10 CONMEBOL
teams. That's never going to happen, guys.
Dude, hold on. Well, listen what John. Look, John Hicks.
Money talks.
Guys, no.
Thinking about it.
I'm talking about the merger might happen. The merger might happen. That's fine. I agree with y'all. But the way that they're going to break out the groups is that it's never going to happen where they're going to have 10 CONMEBOL teams that go to the, it's just never they're never going to break it out like that.
Well, look.
They're never going to. This is what I'm telling you about this tournament as well. What this tournament is okay. African teams, Asian teams, CONCACAF teams. Yes, we understand that you guys want more, more participants to do. We're going to give you that. But who wants to see, terrible minnow team gets slaughtered 3 times in a tournament and have it happen a bunch of times? They're lowering the risk. They're going to only have. They're minimizing the amount of times you see slaughters in essence, and they're going to let the real World Cup, not the real World Cup, but like the tournament for the, to truly see who is the best in the world, go from the 32 onward to the 1.
Only sad part for me is you're gonna miss out on the Costa Ricas.
I disagree. I disagree because because once you get to the round of 32, then it entirely depends on the draw. It entirely depends on the draw. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, like last World Cup, you had a Costa Rica drawn in with, I think it was Uruguay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're gonna miss out the group of death, right?
Where everybody's singing. All right, I think there was even a meme about it where like you had three dudes looking at Costa Rica, like the nicely bodied, like, beautiful Coke bottle, image of a woman, and they got their their teeth ready to jump in, and then it ended up being backwards. I think Costa Rica topped the group, and they knocked out, who was it? Who was in that group?
England, they knocked out Italy and England. They beat Italy and England.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody going in thought that would happen. That was, but that was pretty awesome. Potentially, you could still have those things happening, right? With this new format.
I don't see it. 3 teams.
I think there's a potential for some, but not most of them are obviously going to have a serious scrub team, but there is going to be probably a few groups with say like a Costa Rica, Brazil, Serbia. Like that would be a rough group.
You know what would be fun for Brazil? Brazil, like, Mexico. Oh man, that would be crazy.
Yeah, but again, that's just, I mean,
and
it's
because
just not going to happen.
Because Brazil, I don't think they've ever beaten Norway.
Because of the number of groups, you guys are forgetting.
Yeah,
it's going to be way more groups.
It's just not going to happen. Yeah, so they're going to. I mean, it's going to be. Now, Mexico could get stuck with a group of like Mexico, Norway, and then Ivory Coast. That could definitely happen.
What's Norway's normal ranking? Their number's pretty high. Brazil,
but they
could
wouldn't be
easily be the first.
But they wouldn't be seeded.
Like Brazil could be seeded, and then Mexico could be, fifth or something. And then if you have like Norway 70th or something, that would. I think that would be the biggest. You could potentially have Brazil out of the World Cup, out of the knockout stages, going home early.
Yeah,
I don't know, scenarios like that for me, maybe it is a positive change overall. I gotta do some math and start running numbers like on these potential other countries, because I'm figuring, like I know what you guys are saying, the overwhelming majority, the better teams are like there's gonna be one really bad team that has no chance.
That's exactly right, and that's why like the luck of the draw is really going to determine the tournament, because you could have. Because once they go to 1-2, then you could have in the round of 16, you could have like 2 super heavyweights play each other in the round of 16, and then you could have in another round of 16, 2 mid majors like Mexico play, Iran, let's say, and I mean,
and then lose. That would be the worst, John.
Exactly how it's going to go down.
Yeah. So that's or so that's why now the unfortunate thing about the tournament is that we've seen it, and we saw the contrast dramatically in the Brazil World Cup, was that the group stage in the Brazil World Cup was as good a group stage. I mean, the best games of the tournament were in the group stage, in my opinion, in the last World Cup. And then once they got to the knockout stages, and the games just soaked up any kind of creativity and fun out of the game, like just sucked it dry. And the games were just unbelievably just tense and boring. So I'm afraid that now we're going to have 16 more of those. So that's that is the downside of this.
Is this happening, or is this something?
Oh,
that's
it's happening, Dan. It's going to happen.
2026.
Yeah, it's official.
Let's get it, man.
It's going to happen.
Why don't they just change it to a NCAA basketball type of bracket?
It's exactly what I was thinking. I was
Just go 64 teams.
Like those 32 teams. Like how do they fare at that point?
Single elimination, man. 1 seed versus whatever 13th seed or the lowest seed there is.
That's why I think if they really wanted to make it interesting, to have it like a random draw of groups, that'd be pretty fun. With obviously some parameters where not allowing maybe multiple countries from the same continent participate. But I think that'd be kind of interesting. Add another.
I was watching some really interesting television right now.
Despicable Me.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. At least it wasn't what Joel watches before he goes to sleep. A little parchis.
Parchis.
I keep doing that to you, Joel. I feel bad.
I know it's
like every time I do it, it's like we just stick another dagger in your inner child. It's like La Boda Roja for your inner child. Every time I play that song for you, Joel, it's just So in 2026, it's looking very likely that the region that's going to host the tournament is going to be CONCACAF, and there's talk is it going to be one country that hosts it, it's going to be 2 countries that host it, it's going to be 3 countries that host it. And I did hear today an interview with the CONCACAF president, and of course this could always change because it could always change. Was saying that the tournament is going to still be played in 12 stadiums, which means it can still be played easily in just a handful of countries. Or they could have co-hosts and stage it over a variety of countries, which I think is the direction I think that they're going to end up going in. So I think we're going to see the World Cup played in Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. And maybe, and frankly, if they're going to go this way, they should play in Costa Rica also.
Costa Rica would be a great spot.
Yeah, and if Costa Rica was smart, they would, build.
I'm pretty sure they're going to have to.
Oh yeah, you're right. They're going to have to build maybe a retractable roof stadium on, right on the coast somewhere. And then the next one they can do it in Europe and and hit a bunch of fun like the Euro's doing, and then go to Asia and do the same thing, and that way.
I don't know about having a game over there on the beach though, man, in the middle of the summer.
Well, that's why you build a retractable roof stadium so that
okay, yeah, because San Jose, that's pretty comfortable. Like it's cool right there, and the stadium's nice.
But doesn't Qatar have that new stadium technology that like the heat actually, instead of heating the stadium, it cools it?
That's right.
So it should be ready by then.
Well, yeah, they'll have 4 more years to perfect it because it'll be 2026. I guess my point is that instead of FIFA, instead of asking one country to put up $200 billion, whatever the hell it's going to cost to build the new stadiums they want, because they still want new stadiums. Now they can just ask one country to build 2 stadiums, which is probably what they're going to do to Mexico if they want if Mexico wants to host or co-host the World Cup in 2026. So I fully expect there to be another stadium built, and the fact that Mexico renovated the Azteca was they didn't do it for the NFL. They did it for their World Cup bid.
Are there any I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff. But is anyone actually building any new stadiums? Is anyone planning to build a new stadium?
There
Tigres,
is
right?
Tigres is yeah. Now that Monterrey has theirs, Tigres has to go build one. So I mean, they can
Tigres,
get they can.
Toluca renovated.
That one's not big enough, though, right? Or did they renovate it to a point where they could hold enough people? Isn't it like supposed to be 40,000 or something?
They did do a World Cup.
They've played World Cups. They've played 2 World Cups in Toluca. See, that's the thing about the Azteca, and I guess this is why I think it has to be part of the bid, even though is that no stadium has hosted more World Cup games than any other place on the planet. It has hosted. I know it's hosted more than 10. I want to say it's like 14 or 15 games. The Azteca. So if there's a World Cup bid in Mexico as a part of it, then yeah. And frankly, the final should be played there.
Are they still going? You think if they do a World Cup there, will they let them serve a couple noodles with tapatio?
As long as Anheuser-Busch has a cup of noodles with tapatio
Marucha.
contract, then sure.
Why
why
is that so good?
I saw that picture, man. I'm wondering if it's really that hot. The water.
It's you think that they just have to have some dry ice in there, Joel, just for the effect?
No, they probably gets cooked and then they wait a couple minutes before they sell it. Because if you get some piping hot Maruchan, and then you don't agree with the ref.
That's right.
You're talking about fans that would chuck a $12, beer cup. Not always, but from time to time.
I have a funny story about that.
It's filled
when Mexico played, I think it was it Granada or Guyana? I forget which one of the G's it was. In the qualifying for Brazil, and they played their away game in Houston. I went to that game, and it was about half full, and I ended up sitting behind these super fresotas. I think they were from Monterrey, if I'm not. And I jokingly said when I sat there, "Hey, if Mexico scores," I said, "Please don't throw your beer on me." It was a mom and her kids, and they got a big laugh from that, and they told me the same thing. But
I could be wrong.
It was a good crowd.
I could be wrong, but if memory serves me correct, I believe Wiso threw beer on all of us at that Rose Bowl 4-2. I'm trying to remember, but I'm thinking Wiso was the main guy that was just chucking his beer like just right at us, just right at our faces, and it was pretty awesome.
You are fake news.
Damn.
Now you're sure that was beer?
It was
Agua.
English room temperature beer, Dan.
Was it agua? Would he call it agua de riñón?
I don't believe Pete tastes like that. Some of it, like I said, he threw it in our face, and some of it did manage to get in. So I felt comfortable.
It was still cold and frosty.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think I have an unopened one over here. That's just a terrible tragedy. Terrible tragedy.
I bought myself a bottle of Cazadores for the holidays while I was sick. I'm enjoying what do they call it? 2 fingers of tequila.
It's it is quite medicinal when you're sick. It's actually pretty amazing. Especially when you mix it with NyQuil, it's actually kind of fun. Tequila. Don't try that at home, kids. Please.
Is that like Austin DF scissor?
That's right. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Well, gentlemen, that's a good spot for us to wrap it up. Do you guys have any other items before we go?
Did you guys mention Vergara and Higuera going silent?
No, we didn't
Radio
think that it
silent?
was worthy of any kind of conversation at all.
Got disconnected. I probably missed it.
No, you actually you did get on a little late because I was really singing Chivas's praises. I mean, to the point where even Joel was getting embarrassed.
I had one quick thing that I'd like to just maybe quickly chat about is Chicharito missed another PK. Now, how did he let him take another one is beyond me. But
I have breaking news, Dan. I have. Hang on, let me hit my breaking news button. Hang on. Oh, here we go. I have breaking news. He actually scored a goal tonight in a friendly. So the
It was in practice, wasn't it?
Is
no, it was a practice game. But yes, he did score.
a practice game
In a
against
practice
another
game.
team.
In a friendly where
So it
people
wasn't even
went to watch. It was even
Oh, okay,
televised.
so
it
it
was
was
even
a friendly.
televised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It was right before we started the show. I think 15 minutes before, right, or like 20, 30 minutes before.
Yeah, and I have never seen a player get an interview as he's subbed off and going to the locker room, and that's what happened to Chicharito tonight. So thank goodness the crisis is over. Everyone can go back to their regularly scheduled lives. The Chicharito goal drought is officially over. He's now going to score 80 goals between now and
do friendlies
June.
count as a slump buster?
Hey, just get one in the net. Just get one in the net.
Fishnet.
Yeah, whatever it takes. 220, 221, whatever it takes.
It's been on, hasn't it? I just watched it last week on TV. Yeah, I was I was so tickled to see it on. I was like, oh man, I'm like, I gotta watch this. I don't care if the kids are here.
Has everybody seen Rogue One? Because I don't know if it's a spoiler alert.
Ron is the only one, and he's not here.
Oh, thank God. So we can talk about it. Okay, so the one cameo I want, just because I work in this ridiculous business, the one cameo I wanted to see was the fader bar that in the Death Star that blows the planets up, which is a fader bar on a switcher, which is the machine that when you're doing a live game is the machine that you cut cameras with. You push the button and it cuts the cameras, right? They call that a switcher. And so it made it in Rogue One. I was so happy. It was hilarious.
He geeked out.
Yeah, I did. I had a major.
Nerdgasm.
Yeah. Indeed. A TV nerdgasm. You're exactly right. I did notice that there was another character that got bumped into in the street. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, Chiquis?
Yeah, the guys from the bar, the two guys.
That's right.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Joel, did you catch that?
Yes, sir. You can't miss balls on someone's chin.
That's fantastic.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either. And my final comments, real quick.
Yes.
Going back to the goal scorers title, Chivas plays Rayados, which is going to be a tough game, but Tuzos plays Chiapas, so expect Chucky to score another hat trick or more.
At least another hat trick. At least another hat trick.
Munoz is going to be going back to eating tortas, and it'll be an uphill climb for Pulido.
Man, did he really get
I'm
Did he really
calling it
get
right
upset?
now, man. Moy's gonna shut him down.
Oh,
Wow.
0-0 tie.
Hey, what's the deal with that picture of that press conference where there's a carton of a Corona for the upper left, or his upper left?
It looks like they're at a restaurant.
yeah,
It was their backdrop.
that was Photoshop. Actually.
Oh, all right.
That's
It's-
Photoshop?
It's just a green background behind Moises,
Oh,
And then they added like a bunch of pictures and stuff. Like it looked like from like at Tienda de la Esquina, like one of those stores and stuff. So make it look
Because I was
Man,
thinking that
you know how much I miss those stores.
with the metal plate for the bimbo ad and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we can go get a. You guys know the vampiros? Y'all know what those are? Oh, and surely you know what a vampiro is.
yes, a drink.
No, the paleta de agua from Nestle, the
Oh,
popsicle.
no, because there's two Ampiros, man.
Well, yeah,
There's,
but
there's,
the one it's flavored plum and Jamaica. It's incredible.
oh, no.
Oh, oh,
I had a Vampiro, but it was at a juice bar, a Mexican juice bar.
no, this is a. But I'm telling
Antiques.
you, when is the next time do you go down to TJ often?
Nah, man, I haven't been to Mexico since 2003.
Dan, did you get your cred for the game? Is Dan still with us?
I actually just applied today, so
Oh, okay.
I
'Cause
have
I
no,
thought
I
that you
haven't a
said
clue.
you'd gotten that you. Wow, that was fast. They accepted. I was like, damn, that
No,
was
no,
fast.
no, no, no. I had only received the just the response, like the automated response that they received my request.
Right.
So we'll see about that.
Well, hopefully it works out for you, sir.
If so, then I'm gonna I was thinking about it, like if this goes on, I might just get brave enough to maybe try in other words, I looked at flights to from Tijuana to Torreon, and I seen some flights round trip as low as 189.
So all you have to do is just drive over to Tijuana and then fly over.
Yeah, and they have this. You can park in on the U.S. side, and they built a basically a bridge to walk to directly to the TJ airport. So
Wow,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
that is cool.
So then from there you can just take your flight from Mexico to Torreon, and I'd be able to. I have family there, obviously, so I'd be able to stay there for as long as I had to. So that's something I'm considering.
Should be that should be you'll have to give us a full report when it happens.
Yeah, hopefully.
we-
We'll see if I get this credit, and if I go ahead and do. Hopefully, I'll see Juan there. We'll do the game. And but yeah, that'd be awesome if I could go. And I'm pretty sure they'd be. I don't know. We would see it, but it'd be kind of cool to be able to check out a game over there.
That's true. And they do have one of the nicer stadiums in the league, so it would definitely be a good experience. We do want to say thanks to Richard Flores and Cesar Quintero who were on the chat. So saludos to both of y'all. Thank you guys for joining us. And Joel, do you have any last thoughts before we wrap it up here tonight?
No, we've pretty much got every point we wanted to make. Yon.
Excellent. So you feel satisfied and confident with what you've said tonight. You don't feel like you need to add anything else. You didn't even add even just a little. Or so you're good. Glad to hear it.
Well, they're having a good. The next matchup will be telling.
Yeah.
Because they're facing Monterrey.
It could be a LigaMX final preview.
It very well can be. So
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Well, hopefully things will work out. Of course, I want a big shout out to Ronnie and Fernando that didn't join us this evening. They were both unable to join the call.
I don't think we mentioned La Volpe, so
that's true. We did not invoke the La Volpe charm tonight. So, but we do miss Fernando and his detailed and pleasant outlooks on life.
Apparently, he's at home eating birria.
Well, frankly,
celebrating,
given the choice, I would probably do the same thing. No, I love you. I love you guys. What am I talking about? You guys are great. You guys are great. You guys are great.
I think his family's thinking they're gonna win over the weekend, so let's just start the party early. Let's have birria.
Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be like a 5-day birria, and of course, do you think that Fernando thought that birria meant they were bringing a lot of beer over?
That's pretty harsh. That's pretty funny.
No, that's not nice. That's not nice. But anyway, yeah, it could last. Well through the and they're playing up in the Tamalera too, right, Joel?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so that's now what happened there last time, Joel? If do you remember?
I don't, but I think Chivas has had the upper hand on the games against
was it that the
Monterrey.
game where La Trophies?
No, that was the one before.
But it was in the Tamalera.
Yes, sir, it was. Oh yeah, when they played, you're correct.
Yeah, so maybe maybe Trophies will repeat his performance. Juan, is that something that before we wrap it up, is that what you're expecting? Now, the question I asked Juan with Joel earlier when you stepped off was, with the fact that Chivas is playing, they played so well in that first game, they got the great result. Should we just go ahead and cancel the rest of the season and just give tell the other 17 teams it's over, and just give Chivas a LigaMX trophy? That was the question I had posed to Joel. I pose it to you now.
No. I mean, look, Alanis is like one raindrop away from injury. So I think every time it rains in Guadalajara, that guy gets injured, and so it rains a lot. So he's like Chaton 2.0 in that respect.
So you were not satisfied. You watched it with your coach's eyes, and you saw a lot of mistakes, a lot of areas to improve. In your mind, they were lucky to escape 2-1. It should have been Pumas that took the victory. Or maybe I might have a different. Maybe you might have a different opinion.
You know what? The opening minutes, Pumas they found the space to create danger, but their forward he missed like some really bad, some terrible misses.
Your volume's a little low, Juan.
Wow. See, I made him
Fading out.
Right. So we'll now guys some slack. You know what I think will happen going in.
That might be the most tragic thing that's happened all night. Is that we're not going to hear the
dial-up connection.
That's right. Is it Chivas TV must be? Hey, Juan, we're having problems hearing you. Is your Chivas TV? Is it not working for you tonight?
Yeah, it might be the Chivas TV. Something. Can you hear me now?
That sounds well. We can hear you.
Maybe it's all those oil pumps that are around him that disrupt his signal.
Oh, do they have all that fracking going on out there?
Yeah, you know what? I'm using a new connection that Higuera emailed me about.
Right.
So it might be
Claro video.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you think Sinopolis click?
No. I don't know. It's I think it's a headset. It's this old headset, man. My daughter, she stole everybody's headsets, and she's like a little pack rat. She had like 20 of the earphone headsets in her bag, so I had to borrow one. But I guess
that's hilarious. That she's gonna
man,
you're gonna walk into a room and there's gonna be like a just massive nest of earphone wires strung together. She's made a bed, etc.
She's been like sleeping. She's been sleeping on the ground. So we finally got her a colchon. Not a whole bed, just a mattress. And so we had
baby steps.
Yeah, we had to clean up the room, and then we ran into it's like the newspaper. The day the man landed on the moon, and I was wondering how the hell that ended up there. Or just random stuff, man. There was like a tunnel to China. It was weird.
Do you do have high expectations then after the one game? And then we'll wrap it up after that.
They figured out Pumas.
Well, it doesn't sound like we're going to get the rest of Juan's comments there. But
He's such a tease.
No kidding. He sounded like he was mad. He sounded like he was mad that they won. How dare they win when they played so badly? So maybe he should have switched over to the Pachuca channel instead. Then he would have been a little happier with what he saw.
He's officially left.
Hey, John, sorry, man. It's a bad connection.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We understand. But we're going to wrap it up though. So you did come back just in time for us to say goodbye. But we have had a great time here on the Dos a Cero. Oh, listen to me, the CantinaMX podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to everyone on the chat. We are live here on YouTube every Wednesday night, and of course you can listen to this and other previous editions. You can download them on your phone at the podcast center on iTunes. So thank you guys very much for joining us. Joel, good night.
Good night, John.
Juan, good night.
Hey, good night, John. Hey, and the only thing I was mentioning when I got cut off by Chivas TV was that Paco Palencia got rustled by that little girl. That's why Pumas lost, dude.
Yes, that's exactly why. That's exactly why. Chickies, good night.
John, hey, man, it was a nice evening. Good talking to you guys. I apologize. I had trouble today, but it was fun. You all have a good night.
Good night to you, sir, and may your rayas can continue to stay cambiadas.
Forever and ever.
Chiquis, I'm glad to have you back on the team again. I'm glad that you're back to where you belong.
Yep, it's good. Good fun. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good fun over in Dita's camp, but now you're back.
Yeah, back to the.
So he's changing gatos. So we do appreciate that. Well, my name is John Jagu. Really appreciate y'all having on. Dan, thank you so much.
It was lots of fun. Good evening. Good night, gentlemen.
Yeah, and good luck to your Guerreros this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully things will work out there. And good luck to everybody's team this weekend. Should be hopefully another entertaining round of matches. And of course, you will have a little recap here and talk about anything else that has happened in the world of soccer next week here on the CantinaMX podcast. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you later on.